Have you ever felt like something inside you is missing, even when everything around you seems fine? You have a decent job, friends, maybe even a family. Yet at night, when everything goes quiet, you feel it, a weight, a pull, a whisper from somewhere deep within. You're not broken. You're not lost. You might just be hearing your shadow calling. Carl Jung believed that every part of us we deny doesn't disappear. It hides. It watches. And eventually, it finds a way to speak. In this video, we're not just talking about the shadow. We're going to feel it, trace its shape, see how it's shaped you. And later, I'll tell you the moment I first met mine, in a dream that wouldn't go away. A staircase that never ended, and a version of me I didn't want to see again. So stay with me. This isn't just a video, it might be a turning point. If something inside you stirs, just know, you're not alone. And if you're ready to begin, type in the comments, I'm ready to face my shadow. There's a strange kind of silence that creeps in, when you've checked all the boxes, but still feel nothing. You've made it. You've got a career. You're respected. You've even done the inner work, or so they say. But at 2:47 a.m., you're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, and something inside you whispers, "This isn't it." It's a hollow ache. Like standing in a room full of people, and still feeling completely unseen. It's not sadness, it's not depression, it's more subtle, more spiritual. And that's why it scares you. Carl Jung had a name for that sensation. The shadow. It's not a flaw in your personality. It's not a problem to fix. It's a part of you that you've buried because you thought it was unacceptable, weak, shameful, or simply too much. But here's the paradox. The more you try to ignore it, the louder it becomes. A client once told me, "I've done everything right. Why do I feel so disconnected?" He wasn't lacking success. He was lacking integration. That feeling of disconnection, that sense of something missing even when you have everything. It's your shadow saying, "You've forgotten me, and I am you." Jung said, "We don't become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." What if this emptiness isn't a void, but a doorway? What if the ache you feel is actually an invitation? Stay with me, because once you recognize the shadow, you stop being a puppet of your own denial and start becoming whole. If any of this feels like your truth, type in the comments, "I feel the ache." Let's be honest. Most people have no idea what truly drives them. They think they're making conscious choices. They believe they're in control. But Carl Jung warned us, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. So, what exactly is the shadow? It's not just your dark side. It's not evil. It's not a villain lurking in your mind. The shadow is everything within you that you've rejected. All the emotions you were told were wrong, the anger you swallowed, the desires you buried, the parts of you that didn't fit the image of who you were supposed to be. And because they had no place in the light, you pushed them into the dark. But they didn't disappear. They festered. They grew teeth. And now, they live in your triggers, in your shame, in your fear of being truly seen. The shadow becomes your silent puppeteer. You think you're angry at someone else, but it's really your own pain rising up. You sabotage your success, because part of you believes you don't deserve it. You run from intimacy, because the shadow says, if they saw the real you, they'd leave. You're not broken, you're fragmented, and the more you pretend certain parts of you don't exist, the more power those parts have over your life. There's a haunting image Jung used, a man with a mirror strapped to his back. He walks around, never seeing his true face. And yet that face is shaping every choice he makes. You've met your shadow. In your most irrational reactions, your unexplainable fears, your self-sabotaging patterns. You just didn't know its name. Now you do. And the question is, will you keep running from it? Or will you turn around and ask, what do you need me to see? If you're ready to listen to the part of you that's been ignored for too long, type, I'm ready to see my shadow. The shadow doesn't scream. It whispers. Soft, but relentless. It shows up in the moments you can't explain. The overreactions, the guilt that clings, the shame that won't die. You're in a conversation and suddenly feel attacked, even though no one raised their voice. That's not about them. That's your shadow, flinching. You see someone's success, and something inside you burns. Envy, bitterness, comparison. These are not sins, they are signals. The shadow cries through jealousy, through judgment, through the tension in your jaw when someone challenges you, and it cries even louder when you try to stay nice all the time. When you say yes but mean no. When you nod and smile but your inner voice is screaming, this isn't me. Ever had a dream you couldn't shake? A recurring nightmare? A chase? A fall? A voice that sounds like your own but says things you don't want to hear. That's your shadow at play. One man told me about a dream. He was running down an endless hallway. Behind him, a version of himself. Bleeding, angry, barefoot, but walking steadily closer. He woke up drenched in sweat, and for the first time realized that part of him wasn't trying to hurt him. It was trying to catch up. The shadow doesn't want to destroy you. It wants to be reintegrated. Every unexplained sadness. Every time you say, I don't know why I did that. Every outburst, every shutdown, every numb silence. They are all breadcrumbs, leading you back to wholeness. So pause for a moment. Think back. What was the last moment you felt out of control? What if that was your shadow, crying for light? If any of these signs feel familiar, type in the comments, I'm listening now. It started with a dream. I was walking through a house I didn't recognize. Long, silent halls. Dust hanging in the air like forgotten memories. Each door I opened showed a version of me. Smiling, polite, successful. But none of them felt real. Then I found the basement door. It was locked, but somehow I had the key. I opened it, and the stairs led down forever. At the bottom was someone sitting in the dark. He looked up. It was me, but older, worn, eyes hollow. He didn't speak. He just stared as if asking, why did you leave me here? I woke up shaking. That dream haunted me for weeks, until I realized it wasn't just a dream. It was a message. That man in the dark was the part of me I'd abandoned, the anger I never expressed, the grief I never grieved, the truth I never told. I spent years performing, being the good one, the calm one, the strong one. But inside was someone screaming, see me. That was the first time I truly met my shadow. And in that meeting, I didn't feel evil. I felt whole. You see, the shadow isn't trying to punish you. It's trying to protect the parts of you that got hurt when you were too young to fight back. When I sat with that image, when I finally said, I see you, something shifted. The nightmares stopped, the masks cracked, and I began to speak truths I had buried my entire life, not all at once, but piece by piece. I began to return to myself. So let me ask you, have you had a moment like that? A dream, a breakdown, a silence so loud it woke you up? If you've ever glimpsed your shadow, even for a second, type, I've seen him, or I've seen her in the comments. Let others know they're not alone. Why do we hide the parts of ourselves that need the most healing? Because the world taught us to. From a young age, we learn which emotions are acceptable and which ones get us punished, shamed, or ignored. Boys are told, "Don't cry. Be a man." Anger is power, sadness is weakness. Girls are told, "Don't be too loud. Don't be too angry. Be nice. Be likable." What's wild is, we don't even realize we're being trained. We just want to belong. We want love. And if that means hiding our true feelings, we do it. Until one day, we no longer know the difference between who we are and who we were told to be. I once worked with a man who had everything: money, success, a beautiful family. But at 42, he found himself alone in a hotel room, crying into his hands, whispering over and over, "I don't know who I am." What happened? He'd spent his life becoming the person everyone admired, but never the person he actually was. And beneath that perfect image was a shadow screaming to be seen. The truth is, the shadow gets formed not because you're broken, but because you're adaptive. You created masks to survive. You hid your wildness, your rage, your hunger, your grief, your softness, all to fit into a world that made no space for your full humanity. And it worked, for a while, until the cost became too high, until the numbness set in, until the anxiety stopped being background noise and started becoming your normal. That's the price of hiding your shadow. You lose access to your authenticity, your intuition, your vitality. You live a half-life, polished on the outside but hollow within. And maybe you're tired of that. Maybe, just maybe, you're ready to risk being whole. So let me ask you, what part of yourself did you learn to hide? What mask did you have to wear to feel safe? If you feel ready, type it in the comments, or just write, "I'm done hiding." We've been taught to fear the shadow, to think of it as the monster in the basement, the dark part, the danger. But Carl Jung saw something radically different. He said, "In each of us there is another whom we do not know. He speaks to us in dreams and tells us how differently he sees us from the way we see ourselves." What if the shadow isn't trying to destroy you? What if it's guarding something sacred? The parts of you you've silenced, your anger, your longing, your intensity. They aren't evil, they're powerful, and they're tired of being chained. You see, your creativity lives in your shadow, your deepest desires, your fiercest clarity, your wild, unfiltered voice. It's all there, behind the curtain of who you think you should be. We often mistake suppression for virtue. We say, "I'm a calm person," when really we're afraid of conflict. We say, "I'm easygoing," when really we've lost touch with what we truly want. But the truth is, you can't access your full power until you reclaim what you've exiled. I met a man once who was ashamed of his intensity. He was always told he was too much, too loud, too passionate, too direct. So he became quiet, pleasant, invisible. But under the surface was a poet, a fire, a man who, once he let that shadow back in, started writing words that made people cry. He wasn't broken, he was bound. And when he embraced the too much, he became fully alive. So let me offer you a reframe. Your shadow is not your enemy. It's your untapped strength. It holds your purpose, your voice, your vision, but only if you're willing to face it. What if the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you've been searching for? If that feels true for you, type in the comments, "I'm ready for my power." So, how do you actually work with your shadow? Not in theory, in real life, when the kids are yelling, the inbox is overflowing, and the ache is buried under distractions. It starts with one word: observation. Pay attention to your reactions, not the calm ones, the sharp ones, the flash of anger when someone criticizes you, The way your stomach tightens when you feel unseen. The voice in your head that says, "You're not enough. They'll find out soon." These are entry points. The shadow doesn't announce itself. It slips in, through discomfort. Second, write. Not for anyone else. Just for you. What triggered you today? What did you want to say, but didn't? What memory keeps resurfacing? Don't edit. Let the shadow speak. Third, track your dreams. The subconscious never lies. That face chasing you? That abandoned house? That child crying in the corner? It all means something. You don't need to interpret every detail. Just notice the patterns. Over time, they begin to form a language. Fourth, create, paint, sing, dance. Write poetry that makes no sense. Shadow work isn't just thinking. It's moving emotion through form. And last, be kind to yourself. This isn't a race, it's a relationship. You're not here to conquer your shadow. You're here to meet it with curiosity. Some days it will hide, some days it will roar, and some days it will weep. Let it. Because the parts of you you've exiled are still loyal to you. They're just waiting for permission to come home. So here's your invitation. For 1 week, track 1 reaction per day, write 1 page a night, or just sit with the question, what have I been afraid to feel? If you're willing to try, type in the comments, I'll meet my shadow this week. Let's do this together. You've made it this far, and that says something. It means you're not afraid of depth. You're not here for easy answers. You're here to remember who you are. Most people live their entire lives avoiding the mirror. They run from pain, from truth, from themselves. But not you. Because something in you knows. You were never meant to be half alive, half heard, half you. Carl Jung once said, "I'd rather be whole than good." That sentence changed my life. It made me realize I wasn't here to be perfect, or palatable, or praised. I was here to be real, to integrate all the parts of me, the brilliant, the broken, the proud, the scared, the loud, the silent. All of it. That is what wholeness means. Not perfection, but radical honesty, radical acceptance. You are not broken. You are becoming whole. You've walked through shame, through silence, through shadows. And look, you're still here. That's not weakness, that's power. So as we close, I want to say this. You are not alone on this path. There are others, quietly walking the same forest trail, listening for the same inner voice, trying to remember what they forgot long ago. And if this video, this voice, this message, felt like it touched a part of you no one else talks to, then leave a comment below. Say, I'm walking toward wholeness. Because sometimes, just knowing someone else is out here in the dark with you makes all the difference.